under control. Pranitaha, brought. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength. Whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Translation with repetition. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, he is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Purport. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 41, "Yad yad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimad urjitameva va tat eva vagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam." Know that all beautiful, glorious and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. This is confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. If one sees extraordinary strength or power anywhere, it is derived from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To give an example, there are different grades of fire, but all of them derive heat and light from the sun. Similarly, all living entities, big or small, are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One's only duty is to surrender, for one is a servant and cannot independently attain the position of master. One can attain the position of master only by the mercy of the master, not independently. Unless one understands this philosophy, he is still a mudha. In other words, he is not very intelligent. The mudhas, the asses who do not have this intelligence, cannot surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the subordinate position of the living entity takes millions of births. But when one is actually wise, he surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, "Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha." After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Prahlad Maharaj was a great soul, a Mahatma, and therefore he completely surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. He was confident that Krishna would give him protection under all circumstances. Sri Sri Gandharvika Giridhari Sriman Gaurang Mahaprabhu ki jai. So this verse is the 7th verse of this chapter. Prahlad Maharaj, Prabhu, it's very cold. You can come forward and sit. You can sit on the mat. Yes, please be comfortable. Prahlad Maharaj is responding to what Hiranyakaṣipu has said. So today, before we begin the class, just giving you a summary here, that we will cover verses 1 to 6 to what was covered, for those of you who came a little late, and then we'll come to 7. Okay? Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swame Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So this chapter begins with this particular verse. Ata daitya sutah sarve shrutva tad anuvarnitam jagraghur nirvadyatavan neva guru anushikshitam. And Prabhupada translates the saying. Narada Muni continued. All the sons of the demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by the teachers Shanda and Amarka. Now you may ask, the verse that we came up today, the 7th verse, began with saying, Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my dear father Hiranyakaṣipu, your Lord, the person who is giving the strength for me and the person from whom you get the strength is the Supreme Lord. But why is Prahlad saying this? He's saying this because there's a small story behind this here, which is of importance to all of us. And it begins with here in saying that Shanda and Amarka had tried to teach economics, politics, etc. to the students. And Prahlad Maharaj taught them devotional service. And the sons of the various demons, they appreciated devotional service from Prahlad Maharaj instead of the teachings on politics by Shanda and Amarka. And Prabhupada writes something here which I'd like to bring the focus on. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, as it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, and he quotes the verse, Satam prasangan mama virya samvado. It says, if one tries to understand the discourses given by the Sat or pure devotees, those instructions will be very pleasing to the ear and appealing to the heart. Thus, if one is inspired to take to Krishna consciousness, and if one practices the process in his life, he is surely successful in returning home back to Godhead. By the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, all his class friends, the sons of the demons, became Vaishnavas. They did not like hearing from their so-called teachers, Shanda and Amarka, who were interested only in teaching them about diplomacy, politics, economic development, and similar topics meant exclusively for sense gratification. And then Prabhupada continues. This is the effect of the preaching of a pure devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj. If a devotee is qualified, sincere, and serious about Krishna consciousness, and if he follows the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, as Prahlad Maharaj did when preaching the instructions he had received from Narada Muni, his preaching is effective. So, I'd like to bring some highlight. First, what is the effect of the preaching of a pure devotee? Srila Prabhupada is saying here, the sons of deities, they accepted the transcendental instruction of Prahlad Maharaj. And then, when it is coming from a pure devotee, the instructions become very pleasing to the ear and appealing to the heart. But for the preaching to be effective, purity is important. And how to become pure? One has to be qualified. Srila Prabhupada writes, one has to be qualified, one has to be sincere, one has to be serious about Krishna consciousness. These three things are important. So when we are trying to be sincere, when you are trying to be serious, when you are trying to be qualified, we still sometimes face some obstacles. I have a graphic here which is not so clear, but I'll try to explain. In general, there are some obstacles to purity. One of them is called Hridaya Daurbalyam. There is a weakness of the heart. And then there is another obstacle called as aparadha, something which stops us from going to Srimati Radharani. And these are trying to be or acting in a way which causes anxiousness and trouble to other devotees, to the Supreme Lord, to the Supreme Lord's associates, or causing an offense to the holy name and the holy books. These are all the offenses, aparadha. There's a third thing, which is the thirst for temporary things in this world. It's called asat trishna. And then there's a fourth thing called philosophical misconceptions, tattva vibhrama. These four things cause obstacles to purity. Typically, in our Bhagavatam classes, we try to address these philosophical misconceptions very clearly. That is a very big thing. There are other three things, which is the weakness of heart, the offenses, the thirst for temporary things. It is understood that it takes time. But at least one should be very clear of what are certain things which are philosophically right and wrong. If the philosophical conceptions are wrong, the other things also will have a problem. We will not be able to address the other three. In other words, and so Srila Prabhupada also writes, Srila Prabhupada writes, this is the quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9. This is just in the beginning of the Chatushloki verses. Tavad eva jignasam tattva jignasunatmanah anvaya vyatirekhabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. A person who's searching after the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. And there is a direct method and there is an indirect method. The direct method is called Anvaya. The indirect method is called Vyatireka. The direct method is engaging in Vaidhi Bhakti, regulative devotional service. And the indirect method is for all the unwanted items that we talked about yesterday, not yesterday, in the previous slide, which is asat trishna, attraction to the unwanted stuff, etc. The offenses, aparadha, the weakness of heart, hridaya daurbalya. We need to avoid that, and that is called, let me have the pointer. And that is called this, avoid the prohibited shelters. And to avoid the prohibited shelter, if we avoid it, it checks all these three: the hridaya daurbalyam, asat trishna, and aparadha. So it's a process of avoidance. But there is also a direct method. Yeah. If we go through the direct method, it arouses a spiritual identity. And that actually helps us to eradicate philosophical misconception. Many times devotees say, I am just going to chant. If I chant, everything is going to be all right. But in doing that, if one doesn't avoid the prohibited shelters, it's a problem. The path of progress needs chanting, it needs hearing, it needs reading Srimad Bhagavatam and avoiding this. Both of them are required. So for those of you who might need a Hindi translation, we have His Grace Dhir Lalit Prabhu, who's sitting almost near Srila Prabhupada. You can go near him and he can provide Hindi translation. He will be doing it almost simultaneously. Okay. So there is one important anga of devotional service. The path to purification has this one anga of devotional service here, but there is also another important anga of devotional service, which is Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyeta katita hi artaha prakashante mahatmanah. That is, only those who have faith in the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master Only to them all the imports of Vedic knowledge are revealed. So we can do Vaidhi Bhakti. We can try to avoid the unnecessary things like aparadha, asat trishna, etc. But one should also worship the spiritual master, or one should worship great sadhus who are called Mahatmas. One should serve them, one should hear from them, and read instructions of the Mahatma. So both of these are required. So there's Anvaya Vyatireka, and in the Anvaya part, the important anga is following this Mahatma. So the summary from the first verse is, purity makes the preacher become effective. To preach, we become pure by regulated devotional service and avoid unnecessary shelters. So this is what Srila Prabhupada starts off with in the purports to the 8th chapter of the 7th canto. Then comes the next verse. When Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of the demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. Now, I'd like to spend some time. When does a person become afraid? If you work for money or you work for fame, the loss of work is fearful. One is always thinking about, will I have a job now or not? Why? Because I'm interested not in the job, but I'm interested in the money that is the outcome of it. I'm interested in 10 people giving me a recognition saying, you are great, or everything depends on you. Without your approval, nothing goes. I like that. So that's where the loss of work is fearful. If we study for marks or grade, the exam becomes fearful. Because I'm not studying for the knowledge that I'm gaining. I'm not studying to assimilate what I'm learning, but I'm studying for the exam. And therefore, one is coming to a situation where I may not like what I'm doing, but I have to just get the pass result or get 99% marks or something. The end goal is important, not the process. If you practice bhakti for initiation, saying I am going to chant so many rounds, etc., because I have to get initiated, then the leader becomes fearful. Because you have to please the leader and he has to give you a recommendation saying this person is good enough. So entire practice of bhakti becomes a show to say that, can you please see how good I am? It's always about wanting to be accepted by a leader or somebody. It could even be a spiritual master to say that, look, I am good enough. At least now you should recognize I'm good enough and give me initiation. No? I hope there is the wave of illusion in your eye is coming out and you're able to see my good qualities. So that's a problem. So one is not practicing bhakti to please Krishna or to please the spiritual master or to please devotees. There is another innate need. It is me being recognized. That's a problem. Then we may even get initiated, but then we may say, I will do some service for the acharyas, everybody, but you have to give me a little money. You can't live in this world without money, etc. So then when one becomes too dependent on that money, the institution is fearful. Because if I do something wrong, tomorrow the institution will take me out. I can't pay my home rent. I can't eat one masala dosa whenever I want. So that becomes problematic. Or if you marry for security, the spouse and their family is fearful. Many people say, I don't care who the spouse is. I just want to get married. I don't want to hear what the society is going to tell about me. Just get married. I am done with it. But then what happens after marriage? You'll have to continue maintaining that marriage. And to maintain that marriage, one has to let go of what one wants. One is not in the relationship for the sake of the other person, but is just there to fulfill a security gap. There's an anxiety in oneself. To fulfill that, one is doing it. So that becomes problematic. These are not how we should approach events or relationships by. And Shanda and Amarka were there serving Hiranyakashipu for the sake of that money, that security that was coming. And when they find something was going wrong, what is the first thing they do? It is not my training. It is Prahlad himself. This is like you have to cover yourself. No, you should say, I didn't do anything, somebody else did it. So how does it work typically? When we have to cover ourselves, we would first say that I am giving you this responsibility. If you are successful, I'll tell, I empowered you, no? Because of me only you got it. If you are wrong, I told him so much, he did not listen anything, and still he has failed. There's a very nice example in India. Once upon a time, during the time of Abdul Kalam and others, there was a particular director. I don't remember the name of the director. The mission, the space mission of launching a rocket failed. And when the space mission of launching the rocket failed, the director came to the press conference and he said, we failed the rocket because of these particular reasons. We'll try to do better. About 6 to 8 months later, they tried again, and this time the rocket was launched successfully. And at that time, this particular director, he asked the chief person who was involved in it, he said, you go and address the press conference. He said, when it is a failure, I will take the blame. When it is a success, I will give it to you. Because the director was not in the mood of wanting a validation for himself. When we want validation for himself, for ourselves, we want to go behind that success because we think, what else is there for me? But if we are happy with something else, then we are happy with others being successful. Okay? So now, this is the background. I'm all coming to the final stage of this today's verse, which is the Supreme Lord is the strength of the strong, and one has to surrender unto the Supreme Lord. But I'm just preparing the stage for it. Sanda and Amarka became afraid. They surrendered to Hiranyakashipu, but they didn't surrender fully. They said, not my mistake, his mistake. Next verse 3 and 4. When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry. So much so that his body trembled. Thus, he finally decided to kill his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake, trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlad was peaceful, mild, and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlada's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet, with staring, crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. And I'm not going to read the verse, but I'm going to summarize the verse as such. How did Hiranyakashipu express his rage, his anger to Prahlad? First thing, he was so angry that his body was trembling. I don't know how many of you have observed it. When the body trembles, it's typically an involuntary reaction. There is a voluntary muscle, like I may raise my hand, like I'm choosing to raise my hand to hit, but the body trembling is a little different. Once I was a student, and when I was a student, there was a guy who came to me and showed a gun at me. And when and I was already practicing devotional service for close to 10 years at that point in time. I knew everything about devotional service. You know that the purpose of this life is to please Krishna. If ever at the time of death we have to chant Krishna's name, everything I knew. And when this guy showed the gun to me, he said, "Give me your money." You know, and I was having this half pants, and my wallet was in one of the pockets. And that was on my left pocket, and on the right there was nothing. And I tried to be, I didn't know what to do. But then when I saw the gun, it looked like a little plasticky. So but then it was a little plasticky, but there was still fear. And I was a little foolish also, maybe more foolish. I said, I pointed to my pocket in my pant and said, "Look, there's nothing here. What do I have? Nothing. I'm a student. How can you expect me to have anything?" And then he went away. He just cursed me with in some language, English language nicely, and he went away. But then, while I was speaking to him, and even after he left, my legs were trembling. They were just shaking. I couldn't control it. That was a clear indication of the fear. When there is extreme fear, the body will shake. What was the use of all those 10 years of chanting and everything? I don't know. So the body was, so Hiranyakaṣipu, he got angry that Prahlad Maharaj was not following his guidelines. And what did he do then? He decided to kill his own son. These days we hear so much young boys, young men, they are very much getting afraid to get married. If they get afraid to get married, even if they are afraid to get married, for them the first major milestone is, after marriage, I go with my wife, newly wed wife, to some place, and I come back alive in one piece. Many of them are afraid that maybe my wife, my prospective wife, will cut me, put me into what you call what's that, can with cement in it, etc. There's so much fear these days, and in fact, people even celebrate. Look, I came back successfully. So these are the milestones of these days. But why do people decide to kill? Sometimes it is rage, immediate rage. Like even the police, when you go to the police, they'll say that there may be some argument, and because of a lot of things that have happened in the past, suddenly there is a rage, and the person doesn't know what they're doing, and they go and hit a person, and then they regret killing. And the law also recognizes it. So the law doesn't give them capital punishment. It gives them, okay, 10 years, 12 years, something in jail time, and you come out of it. And then there is premeditated killing. The person plans for days and months and years together, and finally the murder happens. But here, in the case of Hiranyakaṣipu, this was not premeditated murder. It was an instantaneous rage. But look at it. This instantaneous rage has come to the stage where he wants to kill his own son. He's calling him Prahlada. I love the word Prahlada means he loves his son so much, one who gives him joy, and is trying to kill that very person who gives him joy. Right? Why? The values that we embed ourselves with from our birth onwards, that often comes out in these times of rage. It can help us to pause us from expressing that rage, or it will just give a free flow. It depends on that. And therefore, it is important what values we embed into ourselves. And to a good extent, it depends upon our surroundings. Okay. Now, he decided to kill his son. And first, he scolded his son. He rebuked his son Prahlada with harsh words. First, he said, Prahlad, you are Durvinita. You are most impudent. Impudent is a complicated word in English. Simple word. What our audience will generally understand. Why are you retorting to me? Or why are you giving me a back answer? So that is a common thing which many parents face with children. And he says, you are not just impudent, most impudent. Then he says, you are a manda atman. You are a stupid soul. Okay, why? Because I have taught you so much. You are not recognizing my greatness. Shanda and Amarka are teaching. And mind you, he is telling this to Prahlada, who is 5 years old. Okay, I mean, what more do you expect from a 5-year-old child? His expectation is very high. If anybody had Hiranyakaṣipu as a father today, none of the children would survive. Okay. Next, he says, you are kula bhedakara. Kula, in the family, you are causing bheda. You are causing a dissension. You are making like this, I am the father and you are the son. You are looking like as if you are a nice small boy and you are making me look like a villain. So you are causing dissension in our family. And because of this, you are Adama, the lowest of mankind. And I have to, in spite of me telling you so many times, you are still stabdham. You are obstinate. Now I'd like to pause. So today's verse is verse 7. This is verse number 5. I'd like to pause here for a little while. Don't you see that many of you, some of you are children, young children, some of you are parents, don't you feel that at least the children feel, my father or my mother or others, they unnecessarily call me, why are you so adamant? Why are you so obstinate? Why are you answering back to me, etc.? And the parents will always think, why can't he understand this? I am sacrificing so much for you. 15 years I have been saving money for you. I am going morning to evening, I'm working, and still this person cannot understand the value of money, the value of what I am giving. Right? In general, there are reasons to be very respectful to elders or superiors and follow what they say. What are those? Number one, those who are elder to us, they have received some benediction, some boon. By what? They have chanted some mantras. It can be Hare Krishna Mahamantra for most of us. Even in a very religious family, they may chant some mantras which is connected to the Vedas. And the Vedas are coming from the Supreme Lord. There is some purity. But the moment you chant some mantra, you are acknowledging that the Vedas are correct. We are acknowledging that the Supreme Lord is present. I am respecting the Supreme Lord by acknowledging, by chanting the mantras. So therefore, one gets a particular purification. One gets a particular power also. How much ever one does. To some extent, one does get it. So one is a recipient of benediction by chanting mantras, by serving elders and nice devotees, by being absorbed in scriptures. So elders have these qualities in them, or they have received these benedictions. And they are also wise by observing certain patterns in life. Okay, having said this, having said that, there is a valid reason why one should respect elders. Now I'll come to the side of the children, the teenagers especially. Why do children or teenager, so-called rebel? From the perspective of the teenagers, they are not rebelling. It is the adults who are seeing that the teenagers are rebelling. Okay. Most children or teenagers, there's a phase of development for them, sometime in the age group of 10 to 15, when suddenly they discover, I am not just somebody who is to be there with my parents. I am my own, I am a particular living entity who is independent. They discover their independence. They see that even if mother and father don't say something, I have the ability to decide and do something. And I know how to be safe with it. So they are discovering a newfound independence. And with that independence, they are forming their own new identity. And when they form their own new identity, what do? You start testing boundaries. Father said, don't jump so much. What will I do? What happens if I jump? I know if I jump, I'm learning physics. No, I will land in that, but this particular velocity only. Initial velocity is u, final velocity v. V is equal to u plus gt. You do all those calculations and say, nothing is going to happen. 2 feet only, right? I saw in that movie, hero jumped from top of the mountain. I am only jumping from 2 feet. What will happen to me? So they are testing all the boundaries, how much they can do. Or sometimes when they speak to their parents, when the parents say something, what the child replies, the parent sees it as back answer or retorting. But the child is actually testing. If I say so much, what will my mother feel? If I tell something more, what will my mother feel? How much will she allow? If I tell it 5 times, first time if I tell, she is not allowing. 5th time, will she allow? So they are testing the boundaries. They know that till now the parents were telling me that this is all you can do. But now I have realized my mother, when somebody else says something, when an adult says something, she gives in. If I tell in also, she will give in, right? So they are changing the boundaries, one step at a time. Next, from a child's perspective, they feel misunderstood. That my parent is not able to understand what I'm going through. Why? They are of an older generation, 25, 30 years old. And what else is the thing for this misunderstanding? I'll come to that point. There's a very specific point I want to come on that, but we'll discuss this a little bit later. So having desire to form their own entity, they actually are expressing their desire to have attention. So when a child rebels, it is like only when I rebel, I am getting attention, right? When I'm a good boy, you are not giving me any attention. But if I tell something, that the parent will say, what will happen to this child if he's like this? At least let me give him. Which means the child feels I am getting attention because I was ignored in the past, right? And by doing all of this, the child is continuously calibrating in the mind some new reasoning skills. This means that means something else. This plus this will lead to something else. This is how a child is getting developed in their mind. So many new things are happening. In other words, from a parent's perspective, when you see a child questioning, doing a back answer, you should be happy. The child is going through a growth in their development phase. We should not treat it as a threat. Treat it as a growth, as such. Okay? Now, so then finally comes the question. From the parent's perspective, how can the parents cope with such rebellion from the teen as such? But before I come with this topic, how parents can cope with this teen rebellion, look at all of these here. Don't you think this is not just by teens, but even by adults? Even those who are 30-year-old, 40-year-old, they also just always try to test boundaries. They also want to get the attention. And if you go to an organization, in a meeting, suddenly somebody speaks. Why? Because he wants to show, I am also there. You recognize me. Only if you recognize me, only then I will get money, right? And the same thing, they always test like, okay, you are giving the rules. What if I change the rules a little bit? Let it happen the way I want. Most people don't grow from teenage. The growth from teenage to adult happens after a lot of hard knocks, probably around the age of 60 or 70. Before that, it is very tough. Okay. So when you say teenage, it is not just between 13 to 19. It's a much bigger phase of life, which most of us are also going through. So the next step when I'm saying is how parents can cope with teen rebellion, or how somebody else can cope up with us in general. One of the things that happens with teens, which parents often do a mistake, is they give rules. You should not do this, you should not do that. Why are you doing this? A young child's mind doesn't go well with rules. What they like is principles. A principle is different from a rule. For example, when you go in a car, the traffic rule states you have to wear a seat belt. That is a rule. But the principle or the reasoning that comes behind it is, if we wear a seat belt, when there is an impact, the impact will not come on us. It will restrain us. So it is a measure of safety, and we would like to live for a longer life so that we can do many other things. What teens or children need is this reasoning. So, and what adults do is, they don't have time to give this reasoning, because you have to work for so long, and then you come home tired, and then you have to again explain so much to these children. Or the parents, they are cleaning the kitchen from morning to evening, and then they have to chant 2 hours. After chanting 2 hours, they read Bhagavatam for 1 hour, and then they'll have to go and do book distribution outside. And after doing all of this work, when they come to the child, no patience to talk to the child. I will tell you one sentence, just follow my one sentence. If you ask for more, you are a bad child. So when the child is asking a question, it's basically wanting to have that connect. Tell me the principles which you like. Not because the scripture says, tell me how you process it. The child wants to have a connection to the parent. And probably the child will ask the same question again and again, because the child wants to understand what the parent likes about it. Maybe the first time that we say, it was still superficial. Maybe the second time it is still superficial. And that is why it is important to have the conversations. It's not like the child asks a question and the parent answers. The parent should ask the question, do you understand my motivation? Do you like my motivation? Or you don't like? Why you don't like? Most parents don't come to this third step. There is a first question, there is an answer. The third step question doesn't come at all because we don't have patience. The, in the pursuit of wealth, of recognition, of being accepted by others, parents have lost patience for anything else. They go to the outside world to prove what they are. And when they come back, it is a place of relaxation. So the child becomes a burden. So what is it that is a mistake here? We are taking too much upon ourselves. That is, so if we want to invest in the next generation, we should not take too much upon ourselves in this way. We should be cautious about it. Second, most parents become very boring. They are not interesting for their child. So, like say for example, when even say a parent is teaching about something about scripture, this is what is said in the scripture, this is how you should do. An interesting way of telling it is possibly through an anecdote or giving some life experience. Or you don't need to necessarily start from scripture. Most parents of devotees think my only conversation with my child should be whatever I read in the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, I have to somehow drill it down into the brain of my child. This is all my conversation is about. Right? But then what is the child looking for? Probably something that's happening in the world. Maybe it's about world news. Maybe it's what is happening in the building gossip. Maybe it is about something that about what's happening with my friends, why my friends are behaving this way, what is my father thinking about it or mother thinking about it. Maybe the child just likes mountains or space or aeroplanes. We have to meet a person at the stage where they are. And the ironical thing is, most adults, when they, especially devotees, when they go out for preaching, they talk to the adults on what they like. But the same adult, when they go to the child, they don't talk to the child what the child likes. Why? Because this child is mine. There I am trying to prove myself. Why should I prove myself to my child? My child should know how good I am, no? I'm doing so much for the child. So it becomes a already given that I am already good enough, my child has to understand. But that's not the way it works. It's a building up of a relationship. Next is most adults portray themselves as heroes or heroines to their children, which is they don't talk to them about their struggles. They don't talk to them about their grief, their anguish. And the child doesn't feel empathy for them. When the parent says, this so and so person said this, I feel so bad about it. The child may even come and say, Mom, you just told the other day, this is what should be done. Why are you not doing it? Or the child may even come and say, Amma, it's okay. Or Appa, it's okay. And just the child sitting next to the parent will cause the parent's burden to decrease. But how does it help anyway? It helps the child that in the future, I am not here to just be successful in life. Why did the first the two things that we came up happen? Because the adults are chasing success. In trying to chase success, we have lost connection to our heart. When the child sees that the parent has a heart, the child grows up saying, I have to be connected to my heart. And they will most likely not behave like what I've written in the first 2 points here. Right? So one has to learn how to be vulnerable, not hiding one's grief, one's anguish. So process, whatever you're processing in your mind, talk it with your talk through it with your children. They will love it. They are looking forward for it. Okay. Next, one of the other reasons where how parents can cope with teen rebellion is parents expect children to be successful. But instead of that, Why do they want children to be successful? Because there's a fear of failure. Instead of that fear of failure, tell them, you might have failed, but what did you learn through that? So you celebrate the growth. Oh, you didn't get 100 out of 100, you got 40. What did you learn for getting the 40 marks? What did you learn? And in losing 60 marks, what did you learn? Oh, you learned these things. Very nice. You know what? I learned it only after coming out of college. At least you are learning in school. No, you're better than me. These are the kind of conversations that you can have. And it's not just about school education. It's also about when children go out and play with other kids, invariably they are going to end up fighting. And what do parents have to do? They should not take sides. Rather, they should say, what did you learn? Because when they go to the world outside, again there may be a fight. So one has to learn that the child is growing and celebrate the growth of the child. When the child says, I made a mistake, you should celebrate it even more. When the child says, I am right and he is wrong, we have to have a conversation with the child. Can you tell me what that other child would be feeling? So then we make the child aware of others' feelings. Otherwise, it's all about me, and me. And when the child grows up, it's me, and me. And they come to devotional service, it is how I can be good. You give me initiation, you give me leadership position, you make me Bhagavatam class speaker. It's all me. That's the problem. But to do all of this, the child needs to have some Sukriti. And Sukriti comes from previous births, correct? Or Sukriti, or the receptacle by which something good can be taken. Some part of it comes from previous births, but part of it has to be cultivated in this birth. And that happens that especially between the age of 6 to 10, one should give structure to the child. There has to be a time for waking up. There has to be a time to chant shlokas. There has to be a time for play. A child which has structure learns boundaries. When there is a boundary, even if it's a boundary in interpersonal relationships, the child will understand. There was structure in timing. Now there is structure but there are boundaries in timing. There are boundaries even in interpersonal relationships. So that kind of structure helps. And within that structure, the component of the structure, which is there has to be a spiritual component. Bare minimum, just chanting mantras helps. And joyfully, not as a matter of duty. Singing kirtan helps because it decreases the tendency to have rage and to be selfish. It's very important to do that. And now I come to the final point here in terms of how parents can cope with teen rebellion, which is connected to what I said earlier. Most parents have gone through a life of struggle. And why did they struggle? They felt it is my duty to take care of my parents. It is my duty to take care of my spouse. And they spend their entire life being dutiful. And in being dutiful, they forgot joy. And when a child is growing, the child doesn't know duty. The child knows joy. So here we have a contradiction. The child is looking for joy. The adult has lost joy. There is only the sense of duty. And therefore, the child and the adult don't relate to each other. That's the problem. In other words, we as adults have to learn how to embrace joy. Be joyful in the little things we do and the big things that we do. Or to say it simply, a dutiful parent spoils the joy of a child. Does it mean that duty is not important? No. But there has to be joy in what we do. If we are chanting, it cannot be that I have to chant 16 rounds. One has to, probably with help from other books or other lectures or other devotees, learn why chanting is joyful. If one is reading scriptures, it is not that I have to read 2 pages a day. I am here to see what is it that Srila Prabhupada wants me to take. If you read Prabhupada's books, there is something which is very unique. You can read the commentaries of Acharyas prior to Prabhupada. Like, for example, the verse that I was just telling here, in which verse number 5, that Hiranyakaṣipu calls Prahlada as Durvinita. He says, Prahlada, you are impudent. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, how can you even call Prahlad Maharaj as impudent? So Saraswati Devi gave the word in Hiranyakashipu's mouth such that this word Durvinita means something else. So each of the words which Hiranyakashipu addressed Prahlad with is told in a very different way. That is how those acharyas give. But when Prabhupada gives his purports, he of course translates what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives, but he brings it more to the heart, more to inside home, which is, how is it relevant for me? How can I approach Krishna? That is Prabhupada's unique contribution. He makes it more amenable for the modern world. So when we read the books, it has to be that I'm so fortunate Prabhupada is giving me access to this joy of how I can live in this world and how I can live in the spiritual world. That joy we should have. When we have that joy, it will percolate to other aspects of life, and the child will also see that. Okay? So I'll pause here for a little while. I have something more to say, maybe 15, 20 minutes more to say something. But before I say anything here, I'd like to ask our young teens sitting here, the young boys sitting here, there are some young girls, Matajis also there. Anything you think has been missed here or has been misunderstood? Because I have to at least walk the talk, right? I can definitely claim that I am not a perfect person here. I don't understand teenagers. I am much older than a teenager. So what is it? Do you resonate with how teenagers feel and how parents react? Do you resonate with it, or anybody from the young Matajis over there? Yes, no? If it is, I'll ask the easy question first. How many say yes? Raise your hand. Okay, the older devotees are saying yes. The younger devotees are not saying yes. Great. That means it's a no. So the younger ones, I will ask for names if you don't tell it explicit. Because you didn't say raise your hand for the yes, I'm going to take your name out. Okay. Rishi, you tell me. You didn't hear the question. Wow. Wait. My question was, 1 minute. With whatever okay, let me go here. Why children or teenagers rebel? These set of points that I have written here. Is this right or wrong? Right. Anything else that is missing in this? Can I have a microphone, please, if possible, for the audience? Okay. Why do you think? Madhav Chandra. Or I'll have, I'll come back to you, both of you then. Anybody from the Mataji's side or the young girls? Anything that you think is missing? No mic? Okay. It's okay. Shivani, would you have anything to add to it? That's okay, but you are very close to it. It's much closer to me than myself. Okay. 1 minute, Mataji. Can you just repeat this last that you said?
Hare Krishna. So I was just saying, it is very nicely compiled and put in, Prabhu. So I think it shows what we actually want to express, like the expression of newly discovered independence and all. It doesn't come from, like you rightly said, from a place of rebellion. It just comes from a place of understanding. Like if I do this, since you're more experienced, what do you think will happen? So they say, as they say, children look up to their parents a lot. So, and we feel like they have been in the world for so much longer, so they can easily give us the experiences which we don't have to, fight and learn our own way. So I think it comes from that, from a place of understanding more than a place of, rebellion or retorting. So I think that was very nicely put. And feeling misunderstood, yeah, true, because there's a huge generation gap. And I think parents, they were more dutiful and more obedient than us.
Yes.
They didn't question. They said okay to whatever their parents said, and I think that is kind of expected from us. So that's something our generation lacks, because we need to be told, like how you said, we appreciate principles more than rules.
Yes.
So I think explanation is something we. So I don't have anything to add, but I really appreciate what is compiled. Thank you.
I'm just seeing from other devotees here.
Guruji, I want to add something.
Yes, please. Yes.
Not being
Closer
heard,
to you.
not being heard from parents.
Mm.
Sometimes we feel like we want to tell our day
Mm.
or what is we are going through,
Mm.
but parents are so busy in their own world. Even if they listen, they are not listening consciously.
Yes.
That is one thing, like I feel that I have gone through with my parents. Even though when I communicate to my parents, they're like, okay, we'll talk later. But that later sometimes cannot come.
Yes.
Sometimes the child feels vulnerable, or sometimes they have a trouble day or something, and they feel like, okay, I have this trouble, but my parents are not in a position to hear. So that is where somewhere I feel that children's they feel that lack of being heard from, like they don't listen, parents. That is what I feel.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Kunal.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So sometimes I feel there should be communication from the child's point of view, from the child as well. Sometimes child imagine on their own ki, they will not understand me, or sometimes child know that he's doing something wrong and parents will not hear or support, and their own imaginations based on other kids in their surroundings or school or college. So it should come from child as well, the communication towards. Sometimes parents wants to ask few things, but child may hide.
Yes. And for that, we have to empower the child to come out of that fear. So a lot of work from the parent is also required. Dhriti, you have something to add?
Prabhu, I think lack of freedom is given to the
Lack of
freedom.
freedom.
Let it be to express the feelings, because half the time it's not a mutual conversation, Prabhu. It's like half the time the parent is giving lecture and the child is just listening, and is done with listening. They're never given an opportunity to, okay, fine, I also have an opinion, because our opinions are always wrong, Prabhu. That's the notion. I don't know if it's right or not.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
Prabhu.
you. Thank you for expressing it, Mataji. So we went with how parents cope with this teen rebellion, right? And now I have to ask either Madhav Chandra or Rishi, one of you. Rajanath Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
So
yes, I'll keep
usually
this.
when teenagers are feeling maybe misunderstood sometimes, maybe it's just that they want to feel like their contribution matters. And that is, I think that is the sense of identity that we want, because usually in a family matter or when during a purchase or anything, that is during a decision, if we are asked about opinion, our opinion matters, and we should know that our opinion matters in the house. So I think people who do not get that kind of a question that, hey, what do you think? If they don't ask that, then maybe they feel inferior. They're like, okay, maybe what I'm thinking is wrong. What my parents are right. Only my parents are right. But they don't know if what they are thinking is right. Their contribution should matter, and they should know that.
Nice. Thank you. Madhav Chandra?
So most of the times, I don't think there's a feeling of misunderstanding, because most of the children, like, they don't even speak to their parents out of fear.
Very good.
So, like, there's not much of freedom, like how she said. So that I don't think it is.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you. So we went with why children or teenagers rebel, which is why most adults also in one sense are rebellious. How parents cope with teen rebellion. We went through it. But There is one other aspect here, which is a mistake made by many parents. For many parents, their children are their project. That it is a project which has to become successful. They take the full burden of the successful project on themselves. But that is not how it works. Beyond parenting, it is first and foremost, we need to create and participate in a community which has a shared value. And it is when the children are part of this community, they learn from others. Or let us put it a little differently. A child is not meant to be cloistered in a home, to be just bound in a home and always be given instructions. The child learns by observation outside. When the child comes home, it is to feel relaxed. This is my home. I can spread my leg anyway. I can have the one pillow here. I can have a packet of chips in my other hand. This is my house the way I want to be. Because the child is in a state of wanting joy. And it is learning things outside. So how can the child learn things outside? If there's a right set of association, which means we need the right community. We need other children who are being taught similar values. If you are in a community which does not have shared values, that is a recipe for failure. So don't think it that I have to do everything right. Depend on the community. And to depend on the community, the parents have to contribute in one way to the community, and somebody else will take care of their children. There's some other adult who has to take care of the children, and some elderly children have to take care of their younger children too. And they don't need to take the responsibility. The children just observe. They observe and learn. And when they have common values like everybody is friendly, they talk to each other nicely, children get it. It's osmosis. They learn by that process of observation. That is number one. Second is one has to be absorbed in scriptures from childhood, but not at home necessarily. It has to be from a community pathashala kind of a thing. Home, you have to do something, but majority comes outside. Because if it is at home with the parent, then it's like I have to perform in front of my parents. I am not here to perform in front of my parents. I'm here to be happy with them. That's how a child sees it, right? So let it be outside. And that community pathshala, when we even say this to parents, somehow most parents feel, first, as soon as my child comes to 5th standard, 6th standard, he should learn Bhagavad Gita. 8th standard, 7th standard, not 5th standard, sorry. 1st standard, he should learn Bhagavad Gita. 3rd standard, he or she should learn verses in the Bhagavatam. 5th standard or 6th standard, they should be sitting on Vyasasana and giving class. And they should memorize all the verses first and give class at some 6th standard, 7th standard, they should give classes. Why? Because the parent is having this visceral pleasure. My son is doing so much, no? We live through our children. My child is able to do so much. From my genes only, no? That's why he's doing so great, nicely. Otherwise, how could he do so nicely? So these are the kind of things which we shouldn't have. Rather, there is a particular age group where certain things have to be done. There's an age of fun, 6 to 10-year-old. In that, it is important to memorize shlokas. Because these shlokas, because it emanates from Veda Purushas, the Lord of the Vedas, the Garbhodaksha, Vishnu, etc. This purifies us. It is important. And children will learn it. It is important. But not necessarily all the translations. You memorize it. But then one has to connect to the happiness aspect. Because it's an age of joy. One connects to the nice pastimes in Rama Leela, Krishna Leela, Gaura Leela, the Leela of Lord Nityananda, especially their childhood pastimes. One has to teach children these kind of things. And what I told earlier, give structure to children. There has to be what we generally call Nitya Anushtan. As soon as you wake up, what do you do? When you bathe, what do you do? After you bathe, what do you do? Before you go to bed, what you do? When you eat prasadam, what you do? This is a structure that comes in the life of a child. So, in between this structure, child can be joyful. But in this, the child is disciplined. Limit the discipline to this, not too much beyond it, because then you are adding too much there. Then there is the age of discovery. It's 11 to 15-year-old. The child's psychological development is such that they are trying to see the world outside. They are growing up as a person. They are having their own independence. They are testing boundaries, all of that. It is at this age where one learns the stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, the ages indicated here are approximate. For some, it could be minus 2 years, plus 2 years. It's approximate. But when the child hears the stories from the Bhagavatam, they observe the world outside. They are trying to understand themselves, and they are also trying to see how these great personalities were wrapping themselves with what's happening in their life. How did Prithu Maharaj behave? How did King Anga behave? What did Bali Maharaj do? These different stories will gradually tell them, oh, they are doing this, they are doing that, etc. So it is at this stage that in a community patashala, somebody else has to help them learn stories from Bhagavatam. And then comes the age of analysis. A little analysis starts in age of 10, 11 to 15, but much more analysis comes from the age of 15 to 25. And that is when the child gets to know the worth and the power of spiritual values. And it is at that age we start speaking about principles. The principles from the scriptures and its applications. For example, we can teach something like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishad. If you start teaching a child at the age of 10 Bhagavad Gita, what is the meaning of Rajas, Tamas, Sattva to a child? What is the meaning of control your mind to a child? The child's joy is in being uncontrolled. And suddenly this becomes like you are holding the child on. Rather, you introduce a concept there, but here is where at the age of 15 to 25, you tell what is the meaning of controlling the mind. There, you show by action. This is the Nitya Anushtan. At this time, you chant. At this time, you do this. Without speaking a single word, you make the child follow. So the child knows the value of controlling the mind. And then the principle, you do it a little later. Then the child, it's easy for the child to accept at that point in time that I already have experience of doing it. Now I understand the why behind it. Approximately. Right? And in doing all of this, there is also another important aspect, which is one has to engage in projects supervised by a sadhu. Because a child wants to show that, hey, I can do something on my own. But in wanting to show something on their own, there has to be a sadhu who supervises and helps the child connected to the absolute truth. So a sadhu is very much required. So these are the things beyond parenting. So don't burden yourself saying, I am going to take care of my child. Outsource it to a community. And in the same way, you or me and all of us should also help somebody else in the community. That way, we need to work together. Why did I say all of this for the verse number 7? The reason I'm saying this is, in verse number 7, Srila Prabhupada says that if one sees the extraordinary strength or power anywhere, it is derived from the Supreme Lord. Fine. And once one understands that the Supreme Lord has the ultimate power, we should understand that we are subordinate. And when we are subordinate, we surrender. The problem that happens with parenthood, childhood, etc., like for parents is, they know they are in power. And they try to extract surrender from the child. Is this how you do it? Like whatever I went through now, in spite of all of that, innate in it is the power dynamic coming. I have power, you have to follow what I am telling you to do. But Krishna sets the prototype for surrender. In the Bhagavad Gita, finally he says the greatest secret. Sarvaguhyatamam bhuyah shrunu me paramam vachah ishto asi me dhridam iti tato vakshyami te hitam. He says, Sarvaguhyatamam bhuyam. The most greatest secret of all. Shrunu me paramam vachah. Hear from me this supreme message. What is that supreme message? And what is that secret? Ishto asime. You are so much loved by me. This is the secret he wants to tell Arjuna. You are loved by me. And you make dridam iti, know it firmly. And tato vakshyami te hitam. Therefore, I am telling you what is of benefit for you. Surrender can come only after one is convinced that the other person loves me. As long as one doesn't know that the other person loves me, surrender is tough. It is dutiful, it is not joyful. It will only lead us to saying, is this right? Am I on the right path? But one will not have faith and belief that Supreme Lord is my eternal benefactor. It is very important for us to feel that love by the Supreme Lord. And in this world, in our current conditioning, it is not easy for us to feel loved because we have been cheated, we have been hated, we have been rejected, and all those feelings are, from all the previous births are still present in our consciousness. How to come out of it? That is why it is said, Srila Prabhupada says, Bhakti Yoga is the elevator method. Any other method is a staircase method. Why? Because even if you find one bhakta in this world who has been practicing sincerely, Krishna bestows upon him a little amount of purification. And with that purification, he makes that person attractive. If we are attracted to such a sadhu, automatically love blossoms. It is that relationship with the sadhu that is the basis of feeling the love from Krishna. Many people just think it is me and my service. Service helps, but without a relationship with the sadhu, it becomes not fully personal. It is some extent, but not fully. Therefore, connect to persons with love, and then we will get the love of the Supreme Lord. After that comes surrender. Or in other words, relationships are the basis of surrender. And be it amongst our peers, being with the children, being as a parent, or even in the workplace, one has to know that there is no shortcut from establishing proper relationships. We don't go to work for the money that it gives, but we go to work because it offers me an opportunity to put into practice what I learned from Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches me to live a principled life. I will be principled there. Srimad Bhagavatam teaches me to be compassionate. I will be compassionate to the people I meet in the workplace. Srimad Bhagavatam says, do something great for Krishna. I will go and do something great for Krishna. It is not the result of the work, but the work alone, which is bhakti. If the result of work is what you're looking for, that is karma mishra bhakti. But we are here for Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti is the work itself is an offering to Krishna, not just the result of it. For the person. It's 9:50. I'll pause here. Any further comments or thoughts or corrections, please? We have many senior devotees sitting here, far more experienced than me. Please do correct me. I'll be honored. I'll be fortunate for that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the best class for the parenting and also how to rear the children in Krishna consciousness way. I have a few questions to ask you. Can you please throw some light on how do we develop the quality of patience?
How do we develop the quality of patience? Very nice
Patience.
question. I wish I had it. Okay. Any other question to go apart from that?
Yeah, one more question is there.
Please
You
tell
want
that.
me to ask now?
Both.
Okay. So, Sanda and Amarka, they have given some education for Prahlad.
Yes.
So, present day also we have a system of
Yes.
education.
Yes.
So, is it the same education or how to understand that?
Shanda and Amarka's education is high grade material education. We get low grade material education these days. because they were teaching economics, diplomacy, politics, all of that. They were trying to teach how to manipulate gross matter and subtle matter. Current day education only teaches gross matter.
But both are material, you
Huh?
said. But both are material, you
Both are
said.
material. Yes. Now I'll come to the second thing. Rajana Prabhu, I need your help. We have a very senior devotee with us, Vibhav Krishna Prabhu. I need your help, Prabhu. Mathurapati Prabhu's question on how do we develop patience. I'd like to hear from you. You have been chanting for almost 40 plus years with patience. You are living in the holy dham, which tests our patience. I believe you are the right person from whom we can hear. Can you please throw some light, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Is audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. You've thrown a question at me. Okay. From the little understanding and knowledge that I have, is all these qualities that we are aspiring for or we appreciate, we may have or we may not have. But if we are very keen and sincere to acquire that quality, then we should find someone who has it and associate with that person and serve that person in such a way, just like spiritual knowledge is transmitted. So here the speaker and the receiver both have to be sincere and are qualified. So that is how the spiritual knowledge is transmitted. So these qualities also, if we are looking for, how to have patience in life, find somebody who has it and associate and serve that person.
Thank you. So nice.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. I'll just try to accentuate what Vibhav Krishna Prabhu said. Many of you here are either disciples or aspiring disciples of His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. If you want to learn patience, that's something that we can learn from Maharaj very nicely. You may, like many of you are parents, you may have one child, two children. Maharaj has 70,000 plus children. So with 70,000, you all know the problem of one child or two children. You can then imagine what happens at the scale of 70,000 plus children. And for him, 70,000 plus children is not just his initiated disciples. For him, he sees whether they are my initiated disciples or the disciples of anybody else here. As long as they are connecting to Srila Prabhupada, I have my responsibility towards them. And when in that sense of responsibility, when devotees come multiple times saying, I need this to be done, I need that to be done, etc., he first and foremost tries to see what is the need with which you are coming. Is there some way I can help you with the need? Most of the times, devotees come with outcomes that they need. But behind that outcome is a need. And sometimes the need can be like saying, like the devotee comes and says, I need leadership of so and so, or I need to do this particular activity, you please bless me. But behind that is a need of possibly feeling validated, feeling recognized, feeling valued, or there was a feeling of hurt for which one is trying to have a revenge. And Maharaj, very divinely, he recognizes it and he addresses that particular point which is required for that individual. So even if he spends a little time or sometimes writes a small letter, it's a big meaning for that disciple. So that association with that great sadhu, Mahatma, is very, very important, as Vibhav Krishna Prabhu said. Would you like to add anything more? Give more examples, Prabhu? You have anything more that you can think of?
Srila Rupa Goswami speaks about this, the three qualities that a devotee, aspiring devotee should at least try to, move in that direction. Utsaha, Dhairya, and Nishchaya. So Dhairya is patience. So these are the qualities, by reading more and more Srila Prabhupada's books and being conscious of, like you have said in your class, the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, what, we have to, reading scripture is one thing, but trying to imbibe the knowledge that we are getting from the scripture, it is like jnana and vijnana. One is knowledge, but then, realized knowledge. So we have to progress from knowledge to realized knowledge. This, however less or more you say, association with devotees is very, very important. And we should have all types of association. Not that we are, we should also give association. We should also be amongst the peers, and we should also be amongst the devotees who are realized. So this way, it's a balanced thing, and that we will be in a situation where we also have to give sometimes. So we should be open to that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Mathurapati Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
So there is a question from this group of the devotees, Nagina Mataji. You said that there has to be at some particular age group, we should define some boundaries, some constraint, structure should be defined. But what is the criteria to define the boundaries? Like how much should be for one certain particular thing, what is the boundary? Because if we don't set the boundary, as you told that children, they will go rebel. But then they'll ask for no relaxation. Then we become lenient. But then they want more relaxation. You become more lenient. And then things goes out of the control. So is there anything which you would like to?
This is a big thing. We get some idea for this from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. The Hari Bhakti Vilas gives us details of what should be the life of a disciple. And in that we get principles. One is what to do, and the second is how to do it. But it's a very big topic. But it finally comes to the domain of culture. There is a culture that it's not just information, but there is culture that has to be practiced. So one aspect of the boundary was what I just said. The bare minimal thing is at each particular time do certain things. Revisit our consciousness back to the Supreme Lord. That is bare minimum thing that can be done. Waking up, as soon as you wake up, take a shower. That is a culture. After shower, come in front of the Supreme Lord and recite shlokas praising him. That is a culture. What shlokas to recite? That comes the spiritual aspect of it. What's the meaning of it? How to do it? That is also the spiritual value that comes. So these are certain simple things that can be done. But there are much more detailed cultural stuff. Like I don't touch anything at home with my foot other than the floor, because I respect everything as an energy of the Supreme Lord. And when a child is taught in that way, when they become big, even when they get angry, they will not kick somebody with their foot. So like this, there are a lot of aspects of culture, but that is something that requires much more training, and it requires 2-3 generations if it has not been present. In fact, that is a challenge within Iskcon. The problem in Iskcon is we come from different cultures. Each of them have different value systems. We don't have a uniform value system. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, when he began Iskcon, he had brahmachari ashram. He trained his disciples, and they were in the brahmachari ashram, and they passed it on. What's happening today is most devotees practice without going through that living in a temple experience. So they live at home and they cannot get the full aspect of that culture. What happens at home is hidden. And therefore, there is an imperative need that we start the Bhakta camp in some way or the other. When devotees start associating, they have to come in the weekends. There is a Bhakta leader who observes what they're doing and corrects them. or gently nudges them or inspires them, however you call it. That program is required. Just by telling it doesn't work. It's something that has to be, as Viva Krishna Prabhu said, absorbed by association.
Thank you. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sri Sri Gandharvika Giridhari Sriman Mahaprabhu ki. How wonderful they are looking. Hare Krishna. Very, very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. What a wonderful class we've had. Do you all agree? Bigger? Thank you so much, Prabhuji. For all the big problems, big challenges, you gave us how they could be solved. Direct, indirect method. You told us why people become fearful. Be joyful and not dutiful. I think that's why Guru Maharaj says, make more happy devotees. Thank you, Prabhu. The child-parent psychology, I mean, that was an amazing class. I think sometime parents were very happy my child is not here. You know, it was a situation like that. So, but what a wonderful interactive session we've had, Prabhu. And finally, you just revealed on the screen that what is the secret. Krishna says, you are so much loved by me. I can tell you one thing, and I'm sure I have the concurrence of everybody here, that Prabhuji, we love you. The whole of Parivar loves you very much, Prabhu. Thank you so much for giving us your time, your association, and making this class so much more meaningful. Can we all show our love and affection by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Prabhu? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Today was also a day where we started, apart from English class and Kannada class, there was a small Hindi translation going on. So from next time onwards, we'll try and remember this and ensure there is a continuous Hindi class, Hindi translation. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dillalit Prabhu. Back to announcements. Today's cooking service is from Radha Govindji. Do we have Santosh Singh Prabhu? Santosh Singh Prabhu. Okay, or anybody from Radha Govindji? Okay, so just wait, let the Maha Garland and Prasadam come, Prabhu. We'll ensure that you receive that. Okay, today the main sponsor is actually Santosh Singh Prabhu's family in remembrance of their father's death anniversary. Okay, so we'll all say Gauranga to that family who's had this thought that Vaishnava Seva is the best way of remembering his father's anniversary. Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And what are the next things we are having this week? The most famous, of course, for us, it's Putrada Ekadashi, I think, but in South, it's more known as Vaikunta Ekadashi on 30th and 31st. What is it significant for devotees in Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara? That's the day we carry our books and go outside. Especially for those who are looking at, I have not done enough numbers. That's a day when we go out and reach to all the temples, preferably Vishnu temples. And we've always seen that that day we tend to give a lot more, distribute a lot more books. I don't know, that's a sentiment. People love to buy the Bhagavad Gita then. At least the devotees come back a lot more happier on that day. So please, all the devotees, reach out to your leaders and take the required books from the book stall so that we can all go out and distribute books. Then Kirtan Mela, it is regularly, I think the last Sunday, 28th, Prashant Prabhu and team will come out with a wonderful banner, e-banner, and please make sure the new devotees come and participate on that day. Then, yes, what else is happening as we approach the new calendar year? We are having Sadhu Sangha. Any guesses who's coming? His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. Okay, so as I keep saying, there is never a dull moment at Giridhari Parivar. At Sri Sri Gandharvika Giridhari, something or the other is always happening every month. So I don't know the exact dates, but I know from 2nd, right, Prabhu?
2nd to 7th. That's a whole lot of days. So please make sure your office hours are lesser. I can't say about the travel hours, but at least your office hours can be lesser, and reach out. I'm sure there are going to be enough programs announced in the evenings and maybe even in the Bhagavatam classes. So, yep, I have completed my regular announcements. If I have missed anything from the temple side, please remind me. Otherwise, we're going to sing Gopi Geet. But before that, always we make it a point to chant for all the leaders who engage us in all these services, so that we always come on Sundays, do some sevas, and then benefit from that. Can we all 3 times loudly chant Govinda for all the leaders? Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. One thing I forgot to ask, is there anybody new who's come for the first time? Anybody who's come for the first time? Nobody new? First time. Okay, please, what's your name, Mataji? Aishwarya? Bosle. Okay. Your name, Prabhuji? Gopal Krishna. He's already got Krishna in his name. So can we all chant once Hare Krishna for Aishwarya and Gopal Krishna? How did you like today's class, Prabhu? You liked it, Mataji? I'm sure you participated too. So we shall loudly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra so that they both continue to come all the Sundays and spiritually progress also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the people who are standing can come closer, have a wonderful darshan of the Lord. And now we all, yes, Prabhu. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Your WhatsApp I've sent a message, Prabhu. Okay. Just tell me so that I do. So there is a nice, for all the newcomers who had come in today, there's a wonderful news. His Grace Vibhav Krishna Prabhu wants to give you all a gift. Okay. So the gift they're going to receive is going to be Srila Prabhupada's book. Prabhu prefers that they go back home with a Srila Prabhupada's book. So please come here later once we finish the Gopi Geet, and we'll see that you both get a gift. Okay, so wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you so much. We used to do this. I'm sure we should start this back, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah, 1 second, bro. Yes. There is one more announcement. Okay. So I'm reminded of my college days here. So we regularly have a practice in our temple that Prabhujis and Matajis sit separately. I think someone has just sent me a message that it's mixed up. So largely because of Hindi translation also, Prabhu. So we'll try and see that we follow that. Either take the front row for the Prabhujis, and so Matajis are given enough place and freedom to sit comfortably. Thank you, Prabhu. Point taken. So shall we all come closer to the face the Lordships so that we sing this beautiful devotional song? Who's going to sing it, Mataji? Sharanya Mataji? Okay, oh, you're here. Thank you. Can we have the Kirtan team supporting her? Hare Krishna.
From my side, I would like to give
Yes,
thanks
I'll
of
do that.
Sankirtan.
I'll do that. Somebody can stand. Stand. Mike can stand. Who's going to do the follow-up?
Hare Krishna. Jayati Tidhikam Janmana Vraja Shrayata Indira Shashvatatrahi Jayati Tedhikam Janmana Vraja Shrayata Indira Shashvatatrahi Daita Drishyata Dikshutavakas Tvaidrita Savas Vambichimbati Tadrishyata Dikshutavakas Tvaidrita Savas Tvam Vichinvate Sharadudashaye Sadhu Jatasat Sarasi Jodara Shri Mushadrisha Sharadudashaye Sadhu Jatasat Sarasi Jodara Shri Mushadrisha Suratanatati Shulkadasika Varadanignato Nehakim Vada Suratanatate Ashulkadasika Varadhanignato Nehakim Vada Vishajalapyaya Vyalarakshasat Varashamarutat Vaidyulanalat Vishajalapyaya Vyalarakshasat Varshamarutat Vaidyutanalat Drishamayatmajat Vishvato Bhayat Rishabhati Vayam Rakshitamoho
वृषमयात्मजा विश्वतो भयात् ऋषभते वया रक्षिता मुहुः
खलु गोपिका नन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिनाम् अन्तरात्मधृ
न खलु गोपिका नन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिनाम् अन्तरात्मधृ
दिखनस्तार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सखौदे इवान् सात्वतां कुले
विखनसार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सखौदेवान् सात्वतां कुले
विरचिता भया वृष्णिदुर्यते चरणमीयुषां संसृतिर्भया
विरचिता भया वृष्णिधूर्यते चरणमीयुषां संसृतिर्भया
करसरोरुहां कान्तकामदां शिरसि देहिना श्रीकराग्रहा
करसरोरुहां कान्तकामदां शिरसि देहिना श्रीकराग्रहा
व्रज जनार्तिहान् वीरयोषिता निज जनाम स्मया ध्वांसना स्मिता
व्रज जनार्तिहान् वीरयोषिता निज जना स्मया ध्वंसना स्मिता
भज सखी भवान् किङ्करी स्मनो जलरुहानना चारुदर्शया
भज सखे भवात् किङ्करी स्मनो जलरुहानना चारुदर्शया
प्रणतदेहिना पापकर्षणा कृष्णचरणुगा श्रीनिकेतना
प्रणतदेहिना पापकर्षणा कृष्णचरानुगा श्रीनिकेतना
फणिफणार्पिता ते पदाम्बुजा तृणुकुचेषुना कृन्दिहेक्षया
पाणिफणार्पिता ते पदाम्बुजा कृणुकुचेषुना कृन्दिरेचया
मधुरया गिरा वल्गुवाक्यया बुधमनोक्षया पुष्करेक्षणा
मधुरया गिरा वल्गुवाक्यया बुधमनोज्ञया पुष्करेक्षणा
विधि करीरिमा वीरमोह्यति अधरसेधुना प्यायया स्वना
विधि करीरिमा वीरमुयति अधरसीधुना प्यायया स्वना
तव कथामृता तप्त जीवना कविभिरीडिता कल्मषापहा
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 श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदातता भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना
श्रवणमङ्गला श्री श्रीमदातता भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना
श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदातता भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना
श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदातता भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना
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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे हरे
जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि
जय गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गंधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद
जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव
गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Wow. Thank you so much, Matajis, for the wonderful rendition. Now, all of you, please come forward for the Ashtotara. I request a new Gopal Krishna Prabhu and Aishwarya Mat come close to Prabhupada and receive your gifts. All come closer to the dew. Vivek, the mic.
Shri Krishna Ashtotara. Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha, Om Kamalanataya Namaha, Om Vasudevaya Namaha, Om Sanatanaya Namaha, Om Vasudevatmajaya Namaha, Om Punyaya Namaha, Om Leela Manusha Vigrahaya Namaha, Om Shri Vasta Kaustubhadaraya Namaha, Om Yashoda Vatsalaya Namaha, Om Arehe Namaha, Om Chaturbhujata Chakrasi Gada Shankhyadyadhyudaya Namaha, Om Devaki Nandanaya Namaha, Om Shri Sayaya Namaha, Om Nanda Gopa Priyatmajaya Namaha, Om Yamuna Vega Samharine Namaha, Om Balabhadra Priyanujaya Namaha, Om Putana Jivita Paharaya Namaha, Om Shakatasura Banjanaya Namaha, Om Nanda Vraja Jananandine Namaha, Om Satchidananda Vigrahaya Namaha, Om Navanita Vilipthangaya Namaha, Om Navanita Varaya Namaha, Om Anagaya Namaha, Om Navanita Vara Navaharine Namaha, Om Muchukunda Prasadakaya Namaha, Om Shodasya Sri Sahasreshaya Namaha, Om Tribangine Namaha, Om Madhurakrite Namaha, Om Shuka Vagamritabdhindave Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Yoganam Pate Namaha, Om Vatsavatacharai Namaha, Om Anantaya Namaha, Om Dhenukasura Banjanaya Namaha, Om Trinikritartanavartaya Namaha, Om Yamalarjuna Banjanaya Namaha, Om Uttala Tala Betre Namaha, Om Gopa Gopishwaraya Namaha, Om Yogine Namaha, Om Koti Surya Samaprabhaya Namaha, Om Ilapate Namaha, Om Param Jyotishe Namaha, Om Yadavendraya Namaha, Om Yadudvahaya Namaha, Om Vanamaline Namaha, Om Pitavasine Namaha, Om Parijata Parakaya Namaha, Om Govardhana Chalodatre Namaha, Om Gopalaya Namaha, Om Sarvapalakaya Namaha, Om Ajaya Namaha, Om Niranjanaya Namaha, Om Kamajanakaya Namaha, Om Kanjalochanaya Namaha, Om Madhugne Namaha, Om Madhuranataya Namaha, Om Dwarakanayakaya Namaha, Om Baline Namaha, Om Vrindavananta Sancharine Namaha, Om Tulasi Dhamma Bhushanaya Namaha, Om Shamantakamani Hartre Namaha, Om Naranarayanatmakaya Namaha, Om Kubja Krishna Ambaradharaya Namaha, Om Aine Namaha, Om Paramapurishaya Namaha, Om Mushtikasura Chanura Malla Yuddha Visharadaya Namaha, Om Samsara Vairine Namaha, Om Kamsare Namaha, Om Murare Namaha, Om Narakantakaya Namaha, Om Anadi Brahmacharine Namaha, Om Krishna Vyasana Karshakaya Namaha, Om Shishupala Shirashtiretre Namaha, Om Duryodhana Kulantakaya Namaha, Om Vidura Krura Varadhaya Namaha, Om Vishwarupa Pradarshakaya Namaha, Om Satyavache Namaha, Om Satya Sankalpaya Namaha, Om Satyavamarataye Namaha, Om Jahine Namaha, Om Subhadra Purajaya Namaha, Om Jishnave Namaha, Om Bhishma Mukti Pradayakaya Namaha, Om Jagat Gurave Namaha, Om Jagannathaye Namaha, Om Venunada Visharadaya Namaha, Om Vrishabhasura Vidvamsine Namaha, Om Banasura Karantakaye Namaha, Om Yudhishthira Prathishtartre Namaha, Om Barhi Barhavatamsakaye Namaha, Om Parthasarate Namaha, Om Avyaktaye Namaha, Om Geetamrita Mahodadye Namaha, Om Kali Afani Manikya Ranjita Shri Padambujaye Namaha, Om Damodaraye Namaha, Om Yagya Bhoktre Namaha, Om Danavendra Vinashakaye Namaha, Om Narayanaye Namaha, Om Parabrahmane Namaha, Om Pannagasana Vahanaye Namaha, Om Jalakrida Samasakta Gopi Vastra Paharakaye Namaha, Om Punya Shlokaye Namaha, Om Tirthapadaye Namaha, Om Veda Vedyaye Namaha, Om Daya Nidaye Namaha, Om Sarva Tirthartmakaye Namaha, Om Sarvagraha Rupine Namaha, Om Paratparaye Namaha, Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha. Kindly repeat the prayers. Our dear Lordships, Sri Sri Gandharvika Giridhari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Sri Lakshmi Narasimha Deva. If your Lordship so desire, for the pleasure of your pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, and his pure followers, kindly bestow upon us such mercy that we be always engaged in pure devotional service unto you. And as per the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, be always engaged in expanding Sankirtan activities unlimitedly and thereby become instrumental in making Bangalore the first Krishna conscious city of the world. In addition to this, let there be an increase in the number of dedicated congregation and resident temple devotees here, and a special prayer unto you that this temple of your lordships, along with all the devotees, be protected and kept safe from all kinds of dangers and attacks. We also humbly pray to our lordships that you continue to protect our beloved leader, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and all other Iskcon leaders, and bless them with a long life, good health, and more success in their efforts to fulfill the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. Sri Sri Gandharvika Giridhari Gaurahari Mahaprabhu ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari, Gaura Hari. Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari, Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Nitai Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol. जय जय श्री श्री गांधर्विका गिरिधारी गौर हरि महाप्रभु की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की, गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि।
Hare Krishna.
is on which network? Office, right? I think so. Don't know, right? Because without PPT, I cannot start. अरे आप लोग क्यों ये सब पहले नहीं करते हो? क्यों? Why I am we are waiting here like this? Okay, we'll start with Kirtan till the time they fix it. So I request everyone to proceed for the Kirtan. Okay, so we'll have short Kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivairadhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivairadhari. Everyone, loudly. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivairadhari Jaya Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivairadhari Jaya. Everyone, loudly. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kuņda Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Everyone sing loudly, close your eyes. Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Bol, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Aya Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari, Gaura Hari, Jaya Gandharvika. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Madhav, Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Radha Govinda, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Radha Govinda. Jaya Radha Gopinath, Jaya Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Radha Gopinath, Jaya. Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Anantadev, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Anantadev, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jayo, Jaya Bhakta Vatsala, Jaya Balaji, Bhakta Vatsala, Jaya Balaji. Jaya Bhakta Vatsala, Jaya. Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hari, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Nitai. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavan Dham, Jaya. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Guru. Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari bol Nitai Gaura, Hari bol Nitai Gaura. Hari bol, Hari bol. Hari bol Nitai Gaura, Hari bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Shri Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki,